So this is our lacrosse ball feet mobilization. So for this, we'll need a lacrosse ball or a similar massage ball. You could also use a tennis ball if you like. But the more dense the ball is, the more work you can actually do with the ball and dig it into the muscle and get some nice mobilization. So what we need to do here is that we're going to begin by placing our foot on top of the ball. So what I want you to think about here is that muscles are good, bones are not. So we don't want to mobilize on our bones because that's just unnecessary pain and we won't get that much results from doing it that way. So underneath our feet, I want you to think about it like this, that we have our heel and then we have the balls of our feet. So from the bottom of the balls of our feet, think about 2 trigger points that's on a straight line from your big toe, on a straight line from your little toe, and then we have a 3rd trigger point in the bottom part of our heel. So if you imagine these 3 points create a triangle, then that's the area that we want to massage with the ball here. So I'll begin by starting at the 1st trigger point on the line from my big toe, and then I apply as much pressure as I can without feeling pain. So it's okay if you feel like it's tense here and you really have to focus on your breathing to stay in this position, but as long as you don't push through pain. So from here on, I'll roll to the 2nd trigger point that's on the line of my little toe, and then I move down towards the trigger point right underneath my heel. And then I move around in this triangle fashion, nice and slowly, and apply pressure all the time. And if I find a trigger point spot that suddenly like screams at me or really stands out, I'll just stop completely and I'll apply pressure to that specific point. And from there on, I take some deep breaths in through my nose and exhale slowly with my mouth. I do that a couple of times just to make sure the sensation dampens a little bit. And then I can do a contract relax. So I do a 4-second inhale. Then I squeeze the bottom of my foot for 4 seconds while I hold my breath. And then I exhale slowly for 8 seconds while I relax the bottom of my foot completely. So what I want you to imagine here is that your foot is butter and the ball is a hot frying pan, and your foot is actually just melting on top of the ball here when you exhale. So continue on that same spot until you feel like the sensation is now neutral and that it doesn't like stands out completely. And then if you have the time, we're working on the clock here for a couple of minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, then you can continue and see if you can locate other spots that need some work. And that is our lacrosse ball mobilization.